Scott, so if you want to move to the next point about the next error that you feel Marco made, let's go.
Yeah, this is also in the fourth minute, and he made it sound like the object of an MLM is purely retail sales, and it's not. It's also leveraging your time and effort through others in their self consumption and retail sales. And so he just gets mixed up in thinking that one person has to do all the work, and they don't. Just like a regular non MLM company, the CEO does not do all the work. He oversees a number of people. They all oversee a number of people. They all oversee a number. It's a constantly expanding pyramid of people, and everyone's doing work, but it's not just one guy doing all the work. And that's how MLM is supposed to be. If you have the retail sales, that's a proper MLM as far as an illegal pyramid. Now they could be doing other things wrong, but as far as an illegal pyramid, um, if you have the retail sales and you're leveraging others' time and effort, there's nothing wrong with that. That's how a non MLM company works. My boss in my job leverages my time and effort. And the people that work for me, I'm leveraging their time and effort. And each of us is getting paid more because we have more responsibilities and more people are working for us. And that's just the way companies work, whether it's MLM or not. But he doesn't see that. And a lot of the anti-MLM Huns also don't see it
But there's one big
because they,
point.
they haven't thought about it.
There's one big point that you're missing though, and you talk about the CEO. The CEO is guaranteed a wage, no matter if he does a good job, a bad job, if the company makes money, if the company loses money. That CEO is guaranteed being the key word here, a certain wage. And that's not just the case for the CEO, it's the case for every single employee at that company. Whether you're at the top of the company or the bottom of the company, you are guaranteed a wage no matter what. No matter if the company makes money or loses money, you're going to get a guaranteed wage. Where MLM is very
You're going to
problematic,
get a guaranteed wage. You're going to get a guaranteed wage until you're fired.
exactly, but as long as you're there working,
If the company doesn't make money, if the company doesn't make money, the CEO will probably get fired, and
yeah,
maybe many other people will get fired also.
the
So
CEO,
it's not guaranteed. It's guaranteed up until they get fired.
yeah, up until you stop working at that company, you're going to get paid for what you do. Now, whether you're the
Correct.
CEO or whether you're at the middle, the bottom, doesn't matter where you're at, you're guaranteed to get paid for every single minute that you're there. Where MLMs are problematic is that 99.7% of people are never ever going to get paid. And even worse, not only are they not going to get paid, they're going to lose money. So to compare the structure of a normal company with an MLM company, so the MLM company's got the 99 point something percent loss rate. The company has got a 100% you get paid rate. So you can't compare the two because one's safe, one's secure, one's not. And frankly,
Well, I happen to have worked for I have worked for a company that went out of business, and we didn't get paid for several weeks until the whole company went under. So
okay, that's
there
a
are exceptions to that.
very
And I do agree with you that most people at the bottom of an MLM, particularly Amway, because of the tool scam, they're operating at a loss.
yep.
But that's the nature of a commission type job. You know, there are salespeople out there in non MLM companies. Some of them have a mixed bag, whether, you know, they might get a little bit of a salary and then commissions on top of it. Sometimes it's full salary, sometimes it's full commission. There's all kinds of different flavors out there, but there are jobs that are 100% commission,
Yep.
you know, non MLM companies, and
Oh,
it's sink or swim.
they
You either
they tend to
make
have
the commissions or you don't.
we'll go back to the Ferrari salesman and the real estate agent or realtor. They have retainers, so they're not going to earn zero if they stay at a company for a year and don't sell a single house. They still have a retainer, and they will still be paid. And even if they get fired, they still get to keep that retainer. And you know what? Even if you're in a job and you get fired and you get placed onto unemployment benefits, the unemployment benefits is still going to be higher than what the average Amway person or MLM person makes. Even being unemployed, even though the unemployment rates are very low, and almost impossible to live on, and will have you living in poverty, it's still better than being an IBO on average. Much, not just a little bit better, but much,
Well,
much, much. Being unemployed is better than being
keep
in an MLM. That's how bad MLM is. That even
keep it
unemployment's better. Anything's
keep
better.
in mind that keep keep in mind that MLMs are usually extra on top of your job, and if you're married, maybe your spouse is employed and you're doing the MLM,
Mm.
but it's not like it's all or nothing in a typical household. It's an extra thing that you do on top of what you're doing in most cases.
Well, not in my dad's
So
case.
again, to make that comparison is unfair.
Not in my dad's case. My dad was 100% committed to Amway. His financial plan revolved around Amway. He was going to pay off the house he was living in with Amway money. And because he earned no money in Amway, he had to sell that house and move out and rent a house. So his whole financial future was based around the Amway Corporation. He would have had a completely different plan without the Amway Corporation. So it's very much when
But
people get into Amway, they go
but
all
for
in.
many of those But for many of those years, he was driving a taxi and bringing in money through his taxi driver business.
Yeah, but because of the money he
And the
was,
Amway was on top of that.
Mhm. But because of the money that he lost in Amway, he had to sell where he was live. So that's you make a good point. He was able to live in this house when he was just taxi driving because of the Amway Corporation. He had to sell that house and rent a house. That's how damaging the Amway Corporation was
Oh,
for him
absolutely.
and is for
Absolutely.
others.
It can be damaging. Now, your dad is an extreme example. There's not a whole lot of people in his category. Most people don't last very long in an MLM. Typically, it's less than a year.
Yep.
But those stories do happen. Your dad's story is true. I'm not doubting it. I'm just saying it's not typical.
But
It's not
companies
typical for someone to be losing money for 23 years.
But companies like Amway strive, their goal plan, their game is to make more people like my father to have the time they spend in these corporations longer. Their goal is to have more people like my father. That's their goal. That's how evil they are, and that's why people like me and you need to continue to fight against them. And while I feel like people like me and you, even if you don't like Marco, even if you hate him and you think he's a crook and he's a cocaine dealer and that he's got no morals and that he's unethical, you still got to support and praise him when he does good work, and he does do good work. But again, we disagree on that, and that's another reason why you and Peter Mingles debating Marco would hurt the Amway Corporation, which is why I implore you to, even though you don't like him and it might be uncomfortable, let's debate him because that would hurt the Amway Corporation, and we need to hurt the Amway Corporation. But yeah, if you want
It's
to,
not uncomfortable. He's just disgusting.
okay, well, I'll tell you what, I will
I'm
debate.
not uncomfortable around him. He's just disgusting.
You find me the most disgusting person on the planet. I will debate anyone if it will hurt the Amway Corporation. I'll
Okay,
debate.
that's your decision.
Yeah. So, but I hope you follow my lead and you debate
That's
the.
your decision.
Yeah.
I made mine.
Okay. I'll debate anyone. I'll debate murderers and pedophiles and drug dealers and fraudsters. If it hurts the Amway Corporation, I'll debate them. Anything I can do to hurt the Amway Corporation, I'll do. So I beg you to debate Marco. But if you want to move on to the next point, that's great.
Yeah, I just wanted to finish up with, it's unfortunate what happened to your dad, but he's not typical. And I don't think that's Amway's goal is to have everybody spend multiple decades in Amway losing money and having to sell their house. That's not their goal. It happens occasionally, but most people quit within a year. So your dad's story, while it's true, it's extreme, it's unusual. And, I'm not denying it. I'm just saying it's not normal for that situation to occur. And I don't think it's Amway's goal for that
I
to
think
occur. In fact,
Amway's
I would
goal is
say
to
it's their
suck.
goal for it not to occur because then they would
So
really
you
have
think
some bad publicity. If that was their goal and it was really happening in that manner, then they would be out of business. But what they do is damage people a little bit, get a little bit of money, get a little bit of time from them, and then they're gone and they find someone new and they process over and over like that.
Yeah, but as long as they've got the support of powerful people like Donald Trump, it's going to be very, very hard to make them illegal. But yeah, I'm happy to go to the next point if you are.
Well, there was this little country back in 1776 that decided that King George was not everything that they wanted, and they decided that they were going to declare independence from this King George of England, and they did. And that's what has to happen again, is people need to rise up. Whoever is in power, doesn't matter, and speak your voice and be heard, because that's how things happen. But if you just sit there and complain and don't do anything, then nothing's going to happen. If our founding fathers had just sat around the bars and complained and didn't do anything, then we would probably still be sipping tea in the afternoon. So, you got to do something.
Yeah, you're right, Scott. 100%. Everybody listening, please contact the FTC, and please contact your local member of parliament or your congressperson. Let them know what you think of the MLM industry and demand that they close it down. So I'm with Scott 100% there. Please, we have to make more phone calls. We have to send more letters and more emails to the people who are allowing this fraud to continue.
Yeah, on the FTC website, ftc.gov, there's a very easy online form to fill out. It couldn't be any easier, but people have to do it. People can't say, well, I'll let someone else do it. It's every single person that hears this voice needs to do it, and don't just assume someone else is doing it, so I don't have to. That's not how things get done. All right, so next one is also in the 4th minute, and this is where he sort of made a joke. Of course, he's a joke anyway. But he said that the last direct sales model on the planet is drug distribution. Now, him being a cocaine dealer, you would think he would be an expert in the difference between direct sales and MLM. In fact, drug distribution is an MLM, because you have layers and layers and layers of people that distribute the products, the drugs. You have like the kingpin in Mexico. He gets them to maybe 2 or 3 of his underlings to get across the border. And then once they get across the border, they split it up into another 3 or 4 batches, whatever. And people go to different cities. And then in the different cities, they have people that go out and either find the drug addicts, or maybe there's another layer in there. That's absolutely multi-layer, multi-level marketing. It's not direct sales. And it just shows the ignorance of somebody who is actually, this is the only thing he has experience in, and he blew it. He's a cocaine dealer and he blew it. He doesn't understand that he was in an MLM, not a direct sales. Direct sales would have been, he made the drugs and he sold the drugs. Period. Or he bought the drugs from a company and sold them. Period. There weren't these multiple layers, and he knows that. He knows that there were multiple layers, but he just doesn't get it. He's dumb, and he actually got some nervous giggles from the audience when he said that, because everyone knew the backdrop of this, right? Everyone in that conference that was there in person knew that I had contacted the Customs and Border Patrol, notifying them that this cocaine dealer was coming across the border, and that they had stopped someone coming in from England previously who was not even a drug dealer. She just had a text message on her phone saying that something about cocaine, and when the Border Patrol person asked her about it, she said, yeah, I used to take cocaine, and she was denied entry into the United States of America just based on that. So how much more should a cocaine dealer be prevented from being in the United States? So the whole thing to Marco and the audience was one big fat joke, and it's not a joke, and it's just disgusting. All those people there that giggled, they're disgusting. Everyone that ignored my email, they're disgusting. And that's just the way it is. So anyway, that's my next point, is that
all right, so on that,
drug dealing is not direct sales. It's MLM.
Okay, I agree with Marco 100%. Direct selling, I think, is dead. I think the data backs up my belief. But just on another topic, so you're saying that he was a drug dealer. Are you saying, is he not a drug dealer now, or is he still a drug dealer?
Well, he said he was a drug dealer. I didn't say he was a drug dealer. He said it on his video,
all right.
2.5 hours video. He said it. All right. I'm not making any claims here. Now,
me and you need to go through that video together. Is your belief, is Marco still a drug dealer, or is he no longer a drug dealer? What's your belief?
well, I don't know whether he is or not. However, I do know he's not making much money from his YouTube.
Yep.
And that's the only thing he knows how to do to make money. So I would not be at all surprised if he's doing a little bit of drug dealing on the side, just enough to pay the bills to minimize getting caught. You know, I don't think he has to go out there and bling like he did before, you know, and take more chances. I think it's very possible that he's out there.
You don't think he's a rehabilitated then? You think he's still the same person? Hasn't been rehabilitated?
He's never apologized. He's never shown any remorse.
Yep.
He's never done anything that shows that he has any regret from being a drug dealer. Nothing.
Okay.
And by the way, if he did, I would say he's lying, because he's a great liar too. In fact, he's even said that on his own videos. He goes, "I'm a great liar." So even if he said he's sorry that he was a drug dealer, or I should say it like the Canadian way, "I'm sorry," it wouldn't matter, because he's a liar. Yep. So whatever he says doesn't really matter.
All right. So I want to move on to the next point, but I agree with Marco about the direct selling not being a thing anymore. I think direct selling is absolutely 100% gone. But you know, we can disagree on that. If you're happy to move on to the next topic,
well,
we'll do that.
The question isn't whether direct selling is gone. The question is whether drug selling is an MLM or a direct sales situation.
Yep. Yeah, I think you could argue
it's an MLM.
Okay.
Do you agree it's an MLM? Yeah, if it goes through multiple layers of people and they all get paid, it's an MLM.
It's a similar. I'd call it a very, very similar structure. Yeah. The difference is the drug companies haven't got people like Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton and the Bushes on their payroll. That's the big difference between the two, I would say. But yeah, I'm happy to move.
Well, the other big difference when you're a drug dealer is you actually have free market demand for the drugs. How about that? That makes drugs in that respect only, more legitimate than an MLM.
Very good point. Yeah, there is direct demand for drugs, far more than what there is for the Amway overpriced toothpaste. Agreed 100%.